Hello everybody and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at No One's Land, an homage to No Man's Land. But before that, this video is brought to you by Alik DK. Thank you for being Farm Baron. So the No One's Land map can be found at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC and Mac players only. Now this is a 4X survival style map, or as I like to call it, a wilderness style map. The style of map that No Man's Land made so very popular way back in Farm Sim 19. Now while we haven't seen much of Alien Jim with respect to Farming Simulator 25, his legacy continues with his No Man's Land wilderness style with No One's Land that we have here. Now since this is a 4X map, I believe that is what is precluding this from being available on console, even though it does have an extremely small download size of just 80 megabytes. Let me read you the description. The Last Frontier. This is a 4X survival map for single or multiplayer. Have tons of fun and build massive farm from scratch, testing your survival skills to the max. Compete against other players and compare results playing in multiplayer. This map has 16 farmlands, no fields. You have to make your own, and there is a very basic startup equipment and farm to get you going. Good farming. Let's go ahead and jump back over here to the map itself and take a look at the PDA. We start up by owning Farmland ID 8. Remember, this is a 4X map, so all of these farmlands are going to be much larger than they would just initially appear here in the game. For example, Farmland ID 8 is 264 acres in size and just over $1 million. Most of these farmlands are going to be very similar in size until we get down here to the south. And when we do get down here to the south, well, then the coastal area here is going to somewhat affect the overall size of the farmlands. So you will be able to pick up some of the farm down here for relatively cheap. We do have all of our standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 25 on this particular map. And an interesting thing with respect to precision farming. When I was loading this map up and looking around initially before recording, I noticed that in the log, when I had precision farming enabled, there was a Lua error that was popping. And I was like, well, that is rather interesting. So through some trial and error, taking out some DLC and some other mods, I did discover that it was indeed precision farming that was causing that to pop. Possibly it's because there literally is no field predefined on this map, and as a result, possibly that is why precision farming was popping that Lua error. I will say though that with respect to the solo map, if you did have precision farming enabled, it was going to be basically using the generic solo map that does come with the precision farming mod. Now with respect to our crop counter, we are looking at the standard FS25 crop counter on this map. We do not have any animals pre-placed. With respect to contracts, well, we have no farms, but you may possibly find a wood transport contract or a dead wood or possibly a stone crushing contract popping up here or there. With respect to productions, while we have some few scattered trees around, we do have a sawmill. That is the only production that is pre-placed. But really to do any large-scale lumbering, you're probably going to need to plant your own trees. With respect to sell points, I had 3 sell points that I counted up on this particular map. We're going to run down through our starting equipment in a little bit. And with respect to the 25 collectibles that you see here in the statistics tab, this is not correct. This map does not have any collectibles. Now, as far as our starting machinery goes, if we take a look at our garage menu, see we start out with the International Series 200 pickup truck. We also have a Massey Ferguson 7S155 medium tractor. We've got the half-pipe HP20 trailer. We also have the Amazon Cinto 4000 super cultivator. We have the POV 5XL plow. And then we also have our Great Plains solid stand seeder. We have the DPW 1800 flatbed trailer. And we have the Thunder Creek Equipment FST 990 fuel trailer. That's going to be our starting machinery. As I mentioned, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements either. And if we take a look at our starting farm location, well, we have a lime silo located right here. I must have tagged something. Hold on. And then we actually have 2 buildable projects. What we're looking at here is a buildable farmhouse. And I'm a little curious as to what's going on here, because typically if we would walk into this trigger, it's going to tell us what we need in order to start out stage 1. But we don't have that pop. We also have a second buildable project here. This is going to be a buildable garage. And again, we don't have the information popping up here. If we go into build mode, well, we can't delete these objects either. So I'm not sure if these are coded correctly, because again, I am expecting when we go into these triggers to see what we need to deliver in order to build these out. But if we click on them, we don't have the ability to sell them. If we hit B to go into demo mode and we click on them, well, nothing happens. Same thing happens with respect to our lime station. We do not have the ability to sell that either, but we do have the ability to sell our silo as well as our workshop trigger that is also located here at the starting farm. Now, with respect to if these triggers do actually work, what you need to do to deliver to the garage, well, you're going to need to deliver 5,500 wooden beams, 34,500 long planks, 9,500 planks, 17,500 units of cement, 12,500 units of cement bricks, and 6,500 roof plates. And yes, most of that stuff you can't build here until you build out your own factory, and a lot of that stuff is going to require things that you can't grow, so you're going to have to find a source for those things in order to produce those goods. Now, with respect to the buildable farmhouse, we're going to need 11,500 wooden beams, 14,500 long planks, 3,500 planks, 8,500 units worth of cement, 4,500 units of prefab walls, and 6,500 units worth of furniture. That is, again, of course, expecting that these triggers do work, and once construction does pop up, you do actually see what you need in each subsequent stage. As I mentioned, we have our farm silo here, and then we have a workshop trigger also located here at the starting farm location. The rest of this area is, well, basically just going to be a small fenced-in area for our starting farm. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of altitude here so we can kind of take a look and see the lay of the land. To the south, we're looking at fairly flat farmland, or potentially flat farmland, with a bit of a river cutting through on the eastern side of the map. To the north, well, we do have a bit of a mountainous area, a little bit of a mountain ridge, and then on the other side of that ridge, then we are also looking at, again, some fairly flat potential farmland here. You see where we have some scattered trees, but not a huge amount of trees. And given the fact that it's a 4X map and everything, literally everything, is down in one central location, it's going to be a whole lot of transport to transport your products down to the docks. Now, oddly enough, David has been sequestered way over here on the western side of the map. He's just standing over here at this one little tree, all by himself. I'm not sure what he did, but here he is. He's just kind of over here all by his lonesome. And then everyone else is down at the dock. Now, with respect to map performance, this map is going to play extremely well on literally anything that's running Farming Simulator 25. I was seeing frame rates in the 50s plus on my low-end test system, which is using AMD integrated graphics. We can see the main road here that's coming across kind of the central part of the map. It is going to bring us into our dock. Got a little bit of a decline on the road here. Right when we come in, we have our dealer trigger, and then we have our dealer buy point located right here. Let's go ahead and pick something up. Very large area for our vehicles and machinery to spawn. And then with respect to getting out of the dealer, well, we have just a single double gate in order to get out. So not the biggest exit to get out of the dealership, but it does exist nonetheless. Right across the street from our dealer, we do have our sawmill production located right here. Just down the road from that, we do have our map gas station. We have our farmers market for selling of our grain and produced goods or palletized goods. We have our animal dealer here. So if we do put down our animals, we have our animal buy point. And then we have our bale sell point. And around the back, if you do want to get into organic fertilizer, you do have the ability to buy your manure and slurry. And the last really thing to point out here on this map is going to be the grain sell point down here at the dock, where we do have our grain barge. And that dump station is going to be right here. And other than that, we are looking at a huge, huge area here that is literally a blank slate waiting for you to carve up the land, make it into fields, build out your roads, build out maybe towns here and there, or, as the description said, maybe get a group of folks in multiplayer. Each person gets their own little square of farmland and some money, and they basically go at it and build out whatever they want. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to No One's Land and what you think overall of wilderness style maps. Until next time, happy farming.